Hey everyone, original fam here, and lately I've been talking about Bitcoin and when might be a good time to buy it. So thank you for watching those videos. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that interests me, maybe even more than Bitcoin, because I've I put several dozens of hours into this subject, which is epigenetics. I guess it's a subsect of biology, which was one of my majors in college. So I got an A in my biology class. I love my biology professors. I especially like and or enjoy the field of genetics, how we've learned so much, and to track the human genome. There's a man named Bruce Lipton out there. He's a scientist who was a professor at some big universities like Harvard and stuff like that. So he's talking about epigenetics, which is the study of our genetics, our DNA, and what affects our DNA, and how our behavior and our consciousness actually affects our DNA for several generations, for like 3 or 4 generations, even after let's say like someone in the Great Depression is suffering from starvation, and they have this propensity for a certain disease that was common during the Great Depression or something like that, and now 3 generations later or 4 generations later, their grandchildren and great grandchildren have those weaknesses, or those certain there's so those certain those certain reactors in their genetics. So what is epigenetics? Epigenetics is the study of DNA. DNA is what makes up our genetic code. So there's DNA as a strand, double helix. So there's two strands that are parallel to each other, and they kind of like they twist and they twist and they wrap around. And what forms a DNA strand is a protein. Each protein is made up of dozens of amino acids. I think there's something like 50 amino acids, 50 different amino acids. So a strand of protein is several dozens amino acids in a specific sequential order, and then that strand of specific amino acids will form into a shape that is very specific, that makes a specific protein that does a specific job, and then those proteins connect to each other and create DNA. So epigenetics is studying the signal transduction of the protein. Okay, so each protein on your genetic strand has receptors and can send different messages to each other. So in each receptor is like a puzzle. So you can only receive a specific message to a specific protein, and it's really cool, I think. So anyways, that's just some of the more details of what epigenetics is. But the cool thing is that our consciousness and how we feel, how we make ourselves feel, and how we make others feel, has an effect on our DNA. And this is another fact of life that even Einstein ran into. Einstein and many physicists ran into back in the 1917s and the 1920s. They were studying physics and how the beams of light, or the photons, would behave sometimes like wave particles, or sometimes behave like a wave, and then sometimes it would behave like a particle, depending on if we were actually watching the experiment. So this is still true today. I mean, it wasn't just something that happened that was weird, that happened back in the 1920s or whatever, in the 1917s. So your consciousness actually can affect the results of an experiment in physics when studying photons and how light behaves. That's the same thing in genetics. Is that Bruce Lipton in the past, I don't know, like 40 or 50 years, I don't know how long he's been doing this stuff. He's kind of like in his 60s, so I think he's been studying genetics for about 30 years or something like that, since the 80s, or or even the 70s. So I just think it's really interesting because, all right, so if your body is in a lot of stress most of the time, then your body's producing the hormone known as cortisol. That stress hormone will be overly produced, and that's your fight or flight hormone. That's what makes your blood rush to your arms and your legs rather than your torso. So also the other hormones that are actually good for you are like dopamine. Our natural hormones are good for us. Like for women, we have estrogen. For men, we have testosterone, and it's not just humans. This is male and female. Males have testosterone throughout all species, mammals, anyways, and women or females have estrogen, and that goes across the board for all mammals in the animal kingdom also. So that's including like dolphins, gorillas, cats, dogs, humans. All the males have testosterone. All the females have estrogen. And when a woman is pregnant or when a female is pregnant, their bodies produce more estrogen. But if their body is producing more cortisol, it's more difficult to produce that estrogen. And so epigenetics is studying how our genetics are affected by our behaviors and by our consciousness, and just how we can change the expression of our genetic code, the expression of our DNA. Our DNA is the blueprint by which our bodies are producing different cells in our system. We all start off as little baby cells, a zygote, fertilized egg, multiplies and turns into a human over a period of 9 months. So those cells, we still have those cells in our body that can turn into bone or into skin or into hair. Those cells can form into different things. And what causes cancer or what causes disease in the body is when the DNA is just malfunctioning, basically. So when you have DNA that's not working properly, then you have disease in the body. Then you have a lacking immune system or whatever, or leukemia or cancer. All these problems develop. And it's a fact that most of the diseases that are killing people in the United States and around the world are actually preventable. So they're caused by our behavior. They're caused by I could say, like, a lot of times it's caused by eating animals, eating animal products, and then by bad habits like smoking and drinking alcohol. And so alcohol damages the liver, smoking messes up your lungs, and then all these different substances that we call food that people are consuming in mass quantities, and it's just damaging the body. So we damage the body for 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, and then our bodies develop those cancers because of our behavior. And it's sad because sometimes these diseases don't become expressed until after like 2 or 3 different generations. So that's why we have like children with cancer, children with leukemia, and things like that. And we have toxic environments that we've been subjecting our bodies to for so many generations that even children are suffering. So I would like to say more about genetics, and this is really off the top of my head, all the stuff that I've been learning. But our consciousness really does affect the matter, the physical matter in our universe, in our life, in our own body. If you're under a lot of stress, you're going to produce a lot of cortisol. If you're relaxed more and you meditate or you pray a lot and you use your mind to do good things, your body will produce more of the dopamine and other good chemicals in the body that bring the blood to your torso rather than into your arms and legs and giving you high blood pressure and other problems. So this video is already almost 10 minutes long, and I've just kind of scratched the surface on what epigenetics are, and I'd like to talk more about how to actually modify our genetics, what behaviors, what type of thinking, what type of eating habits, and other life habits that could offset these diseases that are killing and killing so many people and then causing so many problems. Just because you don't die from cancer doesn't mean you can't live a better quality life. So anyways, I'm just going to cut out for now. Thank you for tuning in to this channel. This channel is supposed to be educational, spreading positivity, encouragement, knowledge, and information. This channel is affiliated with my church, which is a free church, and we exercise the freedom of speech and the freedom to trade for profit. So that's what we believe in. That's what we practice. This is the Paradise Gathering. That's what I've decided to call my church. So thank you for joining Paradise Gathering. Thank you for joining the Church of Fam. Thank you for joining my channel, Original Fam. All right, guys, have a good day.